Well, I hope you have found Luke chapter 5. I want to talk with you today about the kingdom of God and how that comes in our lives, how Jesus brings that in our lives. You know, all the people back in this day were looking for the kingdom of God. They were looking for the Messiah, and they were expecting the kingdom of God to come. Now, they were looking for a different kingdom, but they were looking for the kingdom to come. Sometimes He'll do that to us. He'll use just little things, little common, ordinary things, to speak deeply into our hearts if we're listening. So He stepped into Simon's boat as he was desiring to step into his heart. He was preparing Simon for a divine revelation. Let me ask you this. What is God preparing you for? You see, He's preparing you for something also. Now, I know we just kind of go through life sometimes and we don't think God's doing anything in our lives, but He's preparing you for something too. He wants to do something in your life. He wants to do something through your life as well. He doesn't just have you sitting on a shelf waiting for one day when all of a sudden you reach spiritual maturity, and then you can get off the shelf and then you can go out and talk to people, or you can love people, or you can forgive people. He wants to do something now. God's preparing you for something now, even this week. Simon thought he was just along for the ride. He wasn't expecting to work. He wasn't expecting to do anything, to put out some more effort. You ever think you're just along for the ride with God? Just along for the ride, God. Just enjoying the ride here. You know, seeing the sights, taking in the sights, and just loving you, rejoicing in you, but don't ask me to do anything. Don't ask me to become uncomfortable. Don't ask me to work, God. I've worked enough. I taught Sunday school for years. I sang in the choir. I used to visit my neighbors. Don't ask me to do anything. I've done all that. Simon thought he was just along for the ride, and sometimes we do too. I love what this picture here, what this must look like. I mean, here's the fishermen, and they know fishing, right? They're professionals. They fished all night. They let down their nets, and it says they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. I would have loved to see the look on Simon's face. Their nets begin to break. And you see at this point, as he's reaching out over that boat and trying to pull in the nets, and they're just overflowing, and he sees them breaking, he's not just struggling with the fish. He's struggling with who this man is. Who is this man that commands the fish of the sea? And so I can see him doing this because he wants to get those fish in the boat, and then he's looking at Jesus like, who are you? Now, during the time this is happening, I had this picture in my mind of what Jesus is doing. You know, here's Simon, he's struggling. He's pulling these fish in the nets, and they're breaking, and he's telling his people what to do. And he's looking at Jesus like, who are you? And I'm wondering about Jesus over here. Here's what I think he was doing. I think he was just laughing. I think he was laughing. Not as in a belittling laugh, but as in a rejoicing kind of laugh. Rejoicing that Simon has caught it. Simon got it. You see, it's not about the fish. He wants the fish. But it's about Jesus in Simon's life. That's why he's trying to get the fish in and looking at Jesus as in, who are you? And I see Jesus is laughing in a rejoicing kind of laugh, saying, it's working. Simon is struggling with the kingdom of God in his life. It's working. It's a process. He's not there yet, but it's working. He deserves recognition that we would have never imagined. You see, at some point, Simon let go of the nets, and he came over to Jesus, and the Bible said he fell at his feet. So at some point, he just let go of his catch, because that little process had worked its way through Simon's mind, and he caught this image of who Jesus was, and he comes over and he falls at his feet, and Jesus is probably sitting on the edge of the boat. He falls at his feet, and he says, Lord, go away from me. Go away. No, he didn't mean, hey, Jesus, would you just jump out of the boat and get away? He meant, Lord, I'm a sinner, and you're not. It was a a statement of humility that Simon had made to Jesus, recognizing that Simon was in the presence of the Almighty.